Hey guys, it's Kurt with the Kurt Locker. Today I am not in my gym. I am down at BridgeBuilt in Cincinnati, Ohio, and I got Patrick from BridgeBuilt, who's the owner. He's gonna be taking us through a quick tour of his showroom and gym. So Patrick, what do we got going on here?
What's up, guys? Yeah, so we're here in our training space / showroom of the gym. This corner, we call it the cardio corner. We don't make any of this stuff, obviously, but when we're doing facility outfits, they request cardio pieces. So yeah, we consider that the extra sauce, and now we can get to the meat and potatoes. One of the first things here, one of my personal favorite product, just because it's very different as most of the stuff we do, are bulletproof plates. So completely encased in polycarbonate plastic, and in the center we've got laser cut layers of steel that you can do any color, any sort of custom logo, customization. Many of you guys have seen these, our American flag bulletproofs that are pretty slick. So yeah, bulletproof plates. One thing that's special about us and kind of holds our ethos of innovate, never replicate. So there you go. Moving on, we got another cart here. Storage cart on wheels that has our bulletproof plates as well as some of our Clydesdale change plates on there.
And this is actually the cart that you let us use down at Home Gym Con for the Throwdown last year, right?
It is, yep.
And if I remember right, me and my crew accidentally spilled an energy drink on this thing and then I think completely forgot to clean it up. In my defense, there was 4 of us doing the whole thing, but still.
It's all good.
Yeah, I accidentally spilled an energy drink on this thing on the polycarbonate top, but I don't know if Patrick will talk about it, but I just want to make sure that I do. The amount of detail that you see in stuff like this, so like this, I don't know if it's polycarbonate top.
It is polycarbonate, yep.
Yeah, that polycarbonate top, all of the small details that are in a lot of this equipment is really what makes it unique. So the customization is a huge part of it, right? So like bulletproof plates, you can get your logo, your name, you get whatever you could probably dream up. They will go over into SolidWorks and Patrick will make his boys do some work to make it work for you. But I really cannot express to you how cool it is to have storage equipment that has these polycarbonate layers, and you're gonna see that in other pieces of equipment as we get around the gym.
Yeah, and you know, elaborating on the polycarbonate a little bit, we often get asked why that is used in a lot of our equipment, and a lot of people don't realize how durable of a material that is. Polycarbonate is a very ballistic plastic. It's used in bulletproof glass, it's used in riot shields, fighter jet windshields, and I mean, the list goes on. So it can take an impact, it's not gonna break down. Sure, it will get scratched up, but the beautiful thing about it is if you ever get tired of the scratches, hit us up, we can get you a new layer and your equipment looks crispy fresh, like the day you got it. So same thing here, you know, continue on the polycarb. This is kind of our whiteboard here where we write down a lot of our training, write down, you know, some of our PRs and whatnot, what we're doing, and that's, one thing we actually use this space for is training. We go to a lot of places and it's a quote unquote showroom, everything's clean. You know, here you're gonna see equipment beat up. We put things to the test and we actually use it to train. Selfishly, I like to design equipment so I myself can train better. And then that just essentially gets passed along to everybody else, so it's a win-win. But one cool thing too is this is actually a drawing of our adjustable bench, which we'll see later in the video. But a lot of our stuff too, it starts off in really kind of primitive ways. Like we'll be brainstorming and we'll draw sketches and different things. And oftentimes people ask us, hey, how did you get into designing equipment? How did, you know, or what's the process? And really it's not that fancy. I mean, sometimes it starts literally on a board, you know, it becomes a real product. I think that one took about 1.5 years from start to finish.
Now the storage thing I want to get at real quick too. So the dumbbell storage, as we get to it, the unique concept on how to store dumbbells is just, it's really seen that kind of BridgeBuilt creativity, innovate, never replicate. And you can see that they've taken dumbbell storage carts, which is common, right? Like you got to put your dumbbells somewhere. But how do we make it so that one, maybe they look cooler, they look different, or how do you make them more accessible? So here we have this cart. Patrick, can you talk about how you came up with the idea to store your dumbbells vertically like that?
Yeah, so this first came, I used to do a bunch of CrossFit. Back in 2014, I competed at CrossFit Regionals on a team, and I would go to different gyms and you would obviously see they have masses of dumbbells piled in corners or piled next to the rack. And so this whole file system, it makes it really easy to put the dumbbell in and out. It slides right back in, and it makes the density very high. So rather than storing dumbbells across in a shelf, we can store them back to back. And we've created systems for CrossFit gyms where these are four dumbbells deep, especially on some of the lighter ones. So it keeps their equipment off the floor. It gives you an easy sort of eye level place to pull the dumbbells off. And with the heavier dumbbells, we still like to do them traditional style on the shelf. It just makes it a lot easier to grab. So when we're picking up the dumbbell in and out, simple. Same thing with the plates. We're sort of kind of freaks about being clean. And so these plates are mounted just high enough so that our Roomba can get under, and you know, we don't have like dust bunnies hiding behind the racks and whatnot. So that's one other thing we love to do. We love to keep equipment off of the floor to make it easier for clean, and that's kind of what we share with different facilities we outfit and whatnot. A lot of times people don't think about those little things when designing a gym space or picking out their equipment, but that's why we do it. Moving on here, this is a new attachment for us. A lot of you guys have seen, this is our multi-grip attachment, or MGA for short. So cool thing about this attachment is it clicks on to a regular barbell with these clamps that are completely lined in HDPE plastic. So as you can see there, kind of have a little bit of the knurling imprint, so it cinches down and it gives you a secure connection point to the bar that's not going to scratch it. When you don't want to use it, boom, it comes off. And then having this center in the middle, it clicks onto a cable attachment, so now you also have a multi-grip lat pull down. And then we also got these extra holes in the frame right here, so these handles can be moved or configured however you want. In addition to benching, of course, this makes a great attachment for doing things like rows, curls, tricep extensions, all that kind of stuff. So if you are pretty limited on your equipment and don't want to get an extra barbell, this is a great option because it gives you a variety of different things that you can use your barbell with, and just more options, more grips, more variety, more versatility in your training. And right under it, pretty standard product for us. This is our Phoenix flat bench. And what's cool about this bench, it does completely fold up. So from start to finish, leg folds in. If we want to get this other side. So there we go. Bench is completely folded up. This one right here is also equipped with our beefy pad, so it's 3 inches thick, 14 inches wide. Gives a lot of great support while you're benching. And this bench is a tank too. We've gotten a bunch of questions about, hey, how sturdy is it? I guess a lot of people have, and rightfully so, kind of a conception that just because something folds up or just because something has the ability to break down, that it's not going to be very stout, that it's not going to be stable. But this bench is a tank. We actually posted a video on our Instagram stacking just over 1,000 pounds on the bench, and there was almost zero deflection in the spine. So, I mean, unless you're benching, a couple thousand pounds, then pretty sure the bench will work great for you.
And if you're benching a couple thousand pounds, please hit me up. We have things to talk about that have nothing to do with equipment, just in general, things to talk about.
Moving through here, pretty basic power rack, nothing special about it. This is actually just our older version of it. But one thing that I think is pretty cool are our safety straps. I used to hate how this little pin in here on other company safety straps would get super scratched up and essentially become a place where is impervious to rust. So we decided to do a plated version. So it can get scratched up, it can get nicked up, whatever, it's not gonna rust. And then two, that also gives us an option to sell our safety strap brackets to other 5/8, 1 inch, whatever hole size your rack may have. We'll be able to accommodate that. And as far as I know, we're also the only people to use actually a 3/8 thick metal bracket. Most other people use 1/4 inch, and theirs is also actually a little bit thinner. But so 3/8 bracket, completely lined in plastic, interchangeable zinc plated pin. Pretty sweet.
Absolutely, and that pin design is something that I've seen come up on a couple pieces. So for instance, on the BFJs or certain J cups and even some of the safeties. So as we get to those, definitely something to talk about. But that interchangeability, so it doesn't matter if you have 5/8, 3/4, 1 inch, whatever size holes you got, a lot of this hardware and attachments are able to accommodate across a variety of different brands and platforms.
Two main powerlifting bars here. This is our V1 Clydesdale bar. So this is when we were dialing in the specs, dialing in the knurling and everything. We just went with the standard silver zinc sleeve, but now this is the Clydesdale bar that everybody knows and loves, with the bronze shaft and the yellow zinc sleeve. Gosh, I love that bar. And then circling around here, this is our Young Buck rack. So this is just essentially the same concept as our Phoenix rack, shrunk down into a package that's more suitable for kids. We went with 2x2 square tubing. The entire rack itself weighs 50 pounds, so it's very easy to fold, very easy to move. The bench itself is a perfect height for kids. This was actually developed, I have 3 kids myself, and my oldest son, who's 4, he's obviously here with me frequently and loves to work out with daddy. So he was constantly trying to climb up on my bench, and I was just worried about maybe him falling or just it not fitting him appropriately. So, hey, we have the capability to make equipment, so why not make something for him? And so this started as a rack for him. People started seeing it on social media. We brought it to Home Gym Con. It was a hit. So now we offer the Young Buck collection. So this is equipment for the kiddos, and it's built with the same fabrication process, the same attention to detail at the same quality level as all of our adult equipment, and this will outlast your kids and their kids and their kids down the line. It's a great piece. And this, the Young Buck bench, I personally also use it a lot as a smaller utility bench. So if I'm doing things like bent over rows, it's super lightweight. I can move it around easy and get in position to do the rows. I'll sit on it when I'm using the Omni pulley system for rows this way or lat pull downs. It's just a great overall bench. The pad itself is 12 inches in width and 32 inches in length. So it's wide enough so us adults can lay on it, but also that width is there to help support the kiddos so they don't roll off one way or another really easily. But
just a real quick note, if you're not familiar with the Phoenix rack. So the Phoenix rack is essentially the ability to fold up the rack. So you have the handle here, this folds up into a single piece, and then it's got the wheels on this side, which allow you to just kind of tuck it away in a corner. So for someone like me who is gonna take something like this and put it in my gym, I've only got a 12 by 20 foot platform, and that's my entire gym. So I can fold this up and I can tuck it alongside a wall or put it somewhere out of the way when it's not getting used. And then when my daughters are out training with me, I can set it up and then they have their own station.
Moving on along, yeah, we have 2 different storage racks here. I'm kind of breaking my own rules with the kettlebells on the floor, but got another one over here, just kind of different configuration for plate storage. Some things we were playing around with. We never really went this direction, but I still think it works. I still think it looks great. Then moving on to this right here is our Clydesdale yoke. I remember back in 2019, I was competing at the Wadapalooza Strong, and they had yokes there from another company. And when we had to go adjust our height, it was such a pain in the butt, like having to unscrew the tensioner and then shift up and shift down. I didn't really quite get it right. So at that point, I was like, we need to make a bridge yoke and make the center cross member super, super, super easy to adjust. So this one right here is obviously set for someone who's a little bit shorter than me, but if I wanted to adjust it, these 2 pins come out. The bar itself rotates, and if I want to bring it up to my height, hole number 29 here, I bring it back over, bar closes down, pins go back in, and now yoke is ready. So
something that doesn't quite get captured in the video here. I used this at Home Gym Con, just kind of comparing it to other yokes. I think year 1 you had this at Home Gym Con.
We did, yeah.
And This, compared to other yokes, the tolerances on this thing are tight. It remains tight. So with a lot of yokes, as you pick them up, there's like that kind of like tink noise as you pick them up, and all the bolts and all the pins kind of fall into position. That's not the case with this thing. When you get this thing in a position, it doesn't move. There's no adjustments afterwards. And it's one of those that, again, like, you really got to be in person to appreciate this, but take my word for it, it's probably one of the most precise and best made yokes out there.
Thanks, Kurt. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, and the another thing we wanted to add was just to make the plate storage here on the bottom very versatile. So these pins completely come out. They're tight. They're lined in plastic. They can be used on the sides as well, and moved around, moved to your rack if they're not being used on the yoke. And yeah, just you guys also have the option here on the yoke. If you wanted a fixed cross member, we went fixed here. You can go no cross member, and also one of our adjustable pull-up bars as a cross member. So definitely some options, definitely keeping things modular and the options open. That's what we try to do. And speaking about tolerances, a lot of people see our racks, and they see our hole size. We go with the 3/4 inch hole size for many reasons, but sometimes people get caught up in the numbers, 5/8, 3/4, 1 inch. We have a lot of customers who purchase our racks and they use 5/8 attachments from other brands with zero issues. The difference between 5/8 and 3/4 is only 1/8 of an inch. There are a lot of companies out there, not gonna say any names, they use 1/8 of an inch, sometimes even up to 3/16 as their hole tolerance, where we keep ours a lot tighter than that. So them using 5/8 attachments on our racks would probably never even notice the difference in terms of how the overall attachment functions, how it feels, versus using it on their own racks.
I asked this question earlier, so I don't know the answer, but you have the hole spacing 2 inches throughout. So what is this hole on the side? What does that actually do? Yeah,
so let me actually grab, me personally, I'm a guy that likes to have, I want everything to have a dedicated home. I want everything to have a function and a purpose and a mode to use it. So what we designed these for, this is our slot system, our quick slot system. So any type of carabiner attachment, whether you have something like, this is like a crossover cord, inertial wave, like whatever you're using, that's where it goes, and now you have a dedicated place for that. And I know, okay, if I'm doing, flies or some reverse flies or something like that, I know I'm in 25. If I wanna go a little bit higher, I can go up here to 43. That clicks on very quickly, and that's a much faster adjustment than like loosening the strap, shimmying it up, making sure it's even on the other side. Honestly, like a lot of us don't have time for that. And that's another reason why we design a lot of the things we do the way we do it, so that training can be quick, efficient, and we can get in and get out as effectively as possible. Like I mentioned earlier, I got 3 kids, so time isn't always there for me. So things need to be quick, things need to be efficient and effective. This right here is our plate station, and very, plate tree. But one thing we offer that's a little bit different is we have the barbell storage on the back. I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen the bar storage on the front, and this are on the sides, and they have like the little cup or the tube that the barbell slides into. But this right here, this is our barbell stable. And so very easily bar goes back and then we get it out. Everything's lined in plastic, and these little pinchers, they kind of pinch the barbell sleeve so that we don't have to lift the bar very high. We push it forward and the bar's in. And it's in there, safe, secure. I can hit the bar. These bars are not coming out. I physically have to grab it and pull it. And there's a little bit of tension that you can feel. Primary reason this type of barbell storage system was designed, back in the day, being at CrossFit gyms, I used to hate having to do an upright row with the bar and slide it down. And I would see a lot of smaller people and ladies sometimes struggle with that, picking the barbell up, 8 or 9 inches off the ground and have to guide it in. So this, it's just a quick pick up. You get it in the bottom groove and you just push it forward and you're good to go. This bar system too is also available with your choice of hardware size, so you can get it with 5/8 or get it to fit your 1-inch rack and it'll bolt into the rack, or you can get it wall mount so you have it up against your wall and store your bars. Here we've got our Phoenix adjustable bench. So similar to our flat bench, the Phoenix adjustable bench also folds up. So, you know, if I kick this back, I can show you guys the leg here. We can pull this pin and the leg itself will fold. I'm not gonna fold the bench completely because I did it with the flat bench, but you guys get the point. But this is just an adjustable bench version of that. And also one thing that's special about this bench is the entire adjustment mechanism is inside of the tube. And the reason I wanted to design it like this is because personally I like to do a lot of seal rows. So if I have this box set up on some boxes, I don't want, whether it be that like banana style adjustment piece or the ramp with the hook adjustment piece, I don't want that in the way. So in adjusting this too is very easy. We pull the pin and we slide it back, slide it up. There's a little, we call it the box car. It's completely lined in plastic and it slides back and forth. And then we got our degree markers right there. So.
And something to point out on this, so something I caught earlier is for each degree marker, it really is a true variance. So like this is 90, 75, all the way to a true 0, but there's actually 2 holes in the block. So there's technically, if you include blocking, just gravity going down on the block itself, you have 3 positions per angle measurement. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You technically have an 18 different adjustment points-ish, about 18 per setting. So you talk about really trying to dial in, you know, get that perfect angle for what movement you're trying to hit. This is a good piece that can do that.
Yeah, and that was something that sort of happened on accident. So just having those extra little adjustments has been nice. And we're getting, Kurt and I are actually getting set up here to train, but so we got the bench set up to do some chest supported rows with our Omni pulley system. So with this pulley system, everything on the pulley system itself is quick release. So this whole, and this is actually our new swivel one also. So the cable itself swivels, both upper and lower. So if you had 2 of them, you can do like cable crossover style. And then same thing with the lower one. We have to set the bench up here because if we set the bench on the turf, it's gonna slide. So the lower pulley's set up in the direction of the bench, but same thing there. Then our plate coaster here, same thing with the plate coaster. No tools required to take it on and off. Obviously, you just have to take off the cable itself. Plate coaster will come up, release the tensioning hook, pull the pin, and then plate coaster is completely removed from the upright. So we wanted to design it like that. So minute 1, you're using your upright as a, you know, for your pulley system. And then later, if you wanted to throw a dip station on, or if you wanted to rack a barbell again, that transition time is very, 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 very minimal. Like I mentioned earlier, a lot of times we have to transition quick. We have to be very efficient and effective with our training because time is limited. We live in a busy world. Some of us have things that are more important than working out to take care of, but still, we got to make sure we can get it in, we can get beefy.
And another thing to add on that too, so just the fact that it pops on and off so easily. So from my experience, if you have attachments such as this on your rack, if you decide when you first set it up that you want it facing that direction, and then a week later you're like, you know what, that doesn't work, I need it to face 90 degrees perpendicular from there. With other systems, you have to like remove the holes, remove the bolts at the top of the upright. You got to do like a full-on construction project to make that little project happen. But with this, you could simply unpin your high and low Omni pulley, and then you could just turn this 90 degrees and you're basically set up 90 degrees. So if that setup works better for you, that's an easy way to go about it. And another thing with BridgeBuilt, so this is like the 3rd time we've talked tolerances. The tolerances are awesome here. Patrick and his team really do a good job of making sure that everything is dialed in to where it's easy to put on and off, but it has no extra slop. So like everything needs a little bit of slop if you're gonna have adjustments in it, but they remove as much of that as they can, both in design and then in the quality of materials, and just basically the QC that happens in the room next to this is insane. So while we were waiting to start this video, I was watching assembly on a couple different pieces of equipment that were going out the door, and just watching the attention to detail that these guys give. And then Patrick and I were even talking about how he does a full-on clean routine on his equipment before it goes out the door. So any of the machining, dust, like all the stuff that, like, it doesn't matter, but it matters from a QC perspective. It matters to Patrick. Him and his team do a good job at taking care of you, the customer, and giving you exactly the quality of product that you want.
Thank you, Kurt. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, it's yeah, because at the end of the day, you know, we want to be proud of the equipment we're sending out, but more importantly, we want you to be proud of the equipment you own. We understand that this is an investment. Our stuff isn't cheap, and you know, when it arrives, we want it to be packaged well. We want it clean. We want it smelling good. You know, like all that sort of stuff. So, so you can be proud of the equipment you got. And yeah, and that's, you know, it's funny you're talking about the tolerances. This plate coaster, this is probably V20 maybe, because we've made so many little micro adjustments to dial it in to make it right. And yeah, we're really thrilled with this product. I mean, it's very, there's very little movement in that, but still extremely easy to take on, take off. And then, yeah, with the plate coaster dock, that serves as like the stop for it. That's been a really popular product for a lot of you guys. Yeah, and same thing. I understand that we offer a unique hole size comparatively in the market, but everything here, the plate coaster dock, can be offered in 5/8, 3/4, 1-inch hardware. The pulley bracket itself, this pin is interchangeable, so we screw it out and then you can get whatever pin size you want, 5/8, 3/4, 1-inch. Plate coaster, we make it in a 2x3 option as well as a 3x3, so it really encompasses the Omni name. So this, if you have a 3x3 or 2x3 rack, this pulley system will fit your rack.
So this is something that I noticed the first time I came here and the second time now. These steps.
Yeah.
Are these for sale on the website? And if so, if not, why? Because I know that someone like me, for instance, when I'm doing weighted pull-ups, I'm usually stepping over on my cross members, you know, trying to get all risky business with it. How did you come up with the idea for this? And any chance that those might eventually end up on the website again? Not to put you on the spot.
Yeah, no, you're fine. And it's actually funny you asked about that. So these are actually a super OG product for us. I think we first made these maybe in 2015, 2016, when we were primarily, that's, you know, when I was big into CrossFit at the time and I was mostly training at CrossFit gyms. I literally ran into a pull-up bar that was mounted really low, and I thought to myself, like, why the heck did somebody put a pull-up bar this low? And you know, sometimes you see CrossFitters that are shorter, relatively shorter athletes, so they need that pull-up bar. So whenever we designed and built a CrossFit rig, we always mounted the pull-up bars a little bit higher, and not just from a safety standpoint, but also from a standpoint of being able to utilize the uprights for different attachments. So we offered our booster hook with that, so you can easily mount it wherever you need. Sometimes we have some mounted high where we put our water bottle or our phone, but it gives you that nice little step so you can get up to the bar if that's what you need. But and to answer your question, yes, this will be available soon. We actually just redesigned it with a similar plate as our Omni bracket. So we're gonna be able to screw in whatever pin size you need, and it'll fit a 3x3 rack. And so you just choose your pin size, and then you get your own little booster hook for your rack. And another reason this product kind of went into the shadows is because we had our adjust the bar. So after offering this, we went with an adjustable pull-up bar so this can come out and it can be adjusted high, or in a section like this where there's rings, you can slap an adjust bar in there. And so then we stopped offering the booster hook because we just sold adjust bars and fixed pull-up bars. So that kind of solved the problem. So if you do have an athlete that's a little bit shorter, they could just grab the adjust bar and mount it very low so that it works for them without having it be permanent on the rack where somebody else can walk into it like I did. And then here, this is just another sort of variation or addition to our Omni pulley system. This is our extended pulley attachment with our belt squat platform, or our quick release platform, set up to be a belt squat. So just as our Omni pulley system is completely quick release, every component here is also quick release. So you can have a complete turnkey belt squat solution for your rack or rig system, literally in under a couple minutes. And so we got this set up.
And while you're demonstrating that, so the handles are movable, but they weren't necessarily intentional handles. Can you kind of talk through like the carriage and how that works as a belt squat handle?
Yeah, so our plate coaster, that's essentially what I was holding on to during that. And what's really cool about it, I guess, is, of course, if you don't have it loaded all the way with weight, you can put your hands on here just as a way to brace yourself and keep yourself in a good position without having a bar that you can physically kind of cheat or pull yourself up with. So it just makes the belt squats more comfortable, makes them more enjoyable. And also, one thing I'm a fan of the cable style belt squat versus the lever. Whenever you're belt squatting on a lever, going through that bottom half, it inevitably pulls you forward. So this, you kind of get a more free range of motion that mimics a real squat better. And the other thing that's cool about this platform itself, we can mount this cross member higher, and we can use this platform for step ups. We can use this platform for heavy ball loads. And rather than traditional diamond plate, as some people like to use in their equipment, we went with this is actually plastic, but it's a diamond pattern plastic. They also use this plastic in marine applications to line steps with, so on and so forth, to give you a high friction, non-slip sort of grip. And we went with that here because we wanted to maximize the versatility of this platform. We wanted this platform, if you put a dumbbell on it, if you put a kettlebell on it, we didn't want that to get scratched up. The platform itself scratched up or your equipment scratched up. So this can take a beating, but it's also a great platform for your feet to stand on so you don't slip. So, and then the last sort of benefit of it, it's not as heavy as diamond plate, so it also helps us with the weight of the platform itself. And then, yeah, also another thing that's not really shown here is the extended pulley attachment. I guess you can kind of see it in this one, can be mounted higher in a sense. And so if we run the cable this way and put a pull down attachment here, you have a better setup for lat pull downs, so on and so forth. And going through all of those things, very quick, very fast, easy, and you don't need to break out any tools or anything to switch up what you're training that day. And then with, we talked about the barbell stable earlier. This is our full sort of standalone unit. So this unit accommodates a total of 12 barbells, also works with specialty bars. I know Jake from Garage Gym Experiment has one in his garage, and all of his specialty bars are stored on it. It's pretty cool. But same thing here. We have a quick, easy load and unload. Drop the barbell in there, push it forward, good to go. It's safe, so the bars won't come out. I don't have to worry about them accidentally falling out. That was another thing that kind of took us a while to dial in the tolerance, because there's no real way to test that unless we just cut a bunch of them and test them. So I think after doing that like 20 to 30 times, we found what worked great, what sort of passed the hit test, and yeah, that's what we came up with. And this one here is on wheels, so it can be wheeled around, moved around. The gym, this has been popular in high schools, places like that where they want to store a bunch of bars, move them from one side of the room to the other. It's been a cool product for us. And then, yeah, I guess to finish up, we saw the Young Buck rack earlier, but this right here is what the Young Buck rack was based off of. This is our Phoenix rack. When it's completely folded up, it's only about right under 12 inches in total width. So, and whenever you want to use it, it easily wheels out.
And while he wheels this out, one of the fun things I remember about the Phoenix rack is watching Patrick wheel this into the Arnold when the Arnold was open. I'm pretty sure there was like people, people around, and Patrick's wheeling in a Phoenix rack over to the Garage Gym Experiment booth.
Yeah.
Back in the day, like 2-3 years ago. But yeah, so totally crowd friendly and definitely got some looks.
Yeah, and then whenever we're unfolding the Phoenix rack, same thing. You know, going with our, I guess, theme of making things quick, fast, easy. Rack is unfolded. We put the pins back in to secure it. And then there it is. The rack itself is ready to use. We also have an adjustable pull-up bar that works across the top there. This one doesn't have J-hooks, but you guys get it.
Awesome. So I just wanted to say thank you, Patrick, real quick for having me down here. I've been here before, but this time came down with the intent of making a tour video. Super clean space. If you like this kind of content, hit the like button, comment. What was your favorite piece of equipment at BridgeBuilt? What kind of stuff would you like to see in the future? Or better yet, if you could make your own bulletproof plate, what would you put as the graphic in the bulletproof plate? But that's been it for this video. Appreciate each one of you guys that watch every single week. I'll see you next time.
Thank you guys. Stay beefy.